The host of the podcast would like to remind its listeners that today's discussion will involve sensitive topics such as depression, suicide, and trauma. Discretion is advised. In addition, this podcast is not a replacement for diagnosis or treatment. If you are experiencing mental problems, kindly seek professional help.
A beat passes as the dark envelops you. Your eyes are shut, but your mind keeps you awake. Flashes of white come in succession, and with it, the image of a smile, a flash of red, bloody eyes, and finally, a hanging body.
Your eyes spring open, as if on command. Above you rests a light bulb emitting black light, swinging, taunting. Yet, everywhere around you is nothing but white. Welcome to the white space. I am Nikita Samson.
And I am MJ Abalos, and today we will delve into how depression and repression is presented in the psychological role playing game OMORI. As Christmas arrives on December 25, 2020, so does the new psychological horror game OMORI. In the story, the player controls a hikikomori boy named Sunny and his dreamworld alter ego Omori. As you enter the game, you are met with flashy pastel colors and a giant cat hovering over Omori and his friends. These friends, named Aubrey, Kel, and Hero, do not notice the omnipresent cat, the money giving snake, or the friendly octopus peeking from a puddle. Instead, they all run out of the surrealist room and enter a deep forest. The forest goes deeper and deeper until it takes you to a playground where you are met with another friend named Basil. Basil, with his flower crown and unrelenting smile, greets you with enthusiasm. Beside him is your sister, Marie. She prepares a picnic for you every time she meets you. Seems innocent enough? Hardly. There is more than meets the eye to our starry eyed, ragtag group of adventurers.
While everything seems happy, peaceful, and carefree in the deep world, everyone looks like they belong, save for the only monochrome character in the game. Omori stands out from his surroundings, as his black and white appearance is in direct contrast with the loudness of the reds and pinks and blues of the dream world. The more you explore the surrealist world with Omori, the more the sense of dread builds the longer you stay with him. There's something Omori isn't telling us. He walks around the forest, fighting alongside us, making sure we're okay, and yet he holds too much mystery within him. Just what is it exactly that he is so determined to keep from us?
Before we discover the secrets behind Omori, let us first understand how the game presents depression and repression through Headspace. The Headspace is a vibrant world that Sunny created, helping him cope with his depression. This is where his alter ego, Omori, resides. The headspace contains all of Sunny's desires regarding the world that he lives in. His desire that he is still young and happy with his friends Aubrey, Hero, and Kel. And another desire is that his sister Marie is still alive. In the headspace, Sunny also reimagined his friends based on what his true feelings are for them. First, we have the tomboyish Aubrey, who in Sunny's head has a huge crush on his alter ego Omori. However, we learn later in the game that it's Sunny who is attracted to Aubrey as we explore Sunny's own personal backstory. Second, Kel, the happy go lucky boy who always pushes Omori to achieve impossible tasks in Headspace. The same way it was also Kel who pulled Sunny out of his house after Sunny isolated himself over several years. Third, Hero, the charming big brother figure of the group who is always there to patch things up, parallel to him being the healer of the party. Fourth, Marie, Sunny's big sister who gave Omori guidance throughout their adventures in the headspace. It is the same way that Marie also guided Sunny and gave him advice on living his life back in the dream world. Finally, Basil, Sunny's shy friend who always seems like he's hiding and running away, similar to real life Basil. Omori and his friends go on an adventure throughout Headspace in order to look for Basil and face several enemies that are a manifestation of Sunny's childhood hopes and fears. These enemies include Captain Spaceboy, a space pirate who Sunny and friends idolized in the real world, Sweetheart, a vain and feisty princess based on the obnoxious candy clerk in the real world. However, the more they explored Headspace, the more they got too invested in their adventures, which led to them eventually forgetting who Basil was. This was caused by Omori himself. As the alter ego who represents Sunny, he plays an important role as to why certain events occur in the headspace.
In fact, Omori's behavior throughout the game is really Sunny's repression of his trauma. This can be explained by an aspect of depression known as operant conditioning, introduced by B.F. Skinner. Skinner introduced the idea of positive negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement proposes that actions that are rewarded tend to be repeated, whereas actions that come with negative consequences tend to be avoided.
In the case of Omori, Omori served as Sunny's repressive subconscious, who refrains Sunny from confronting his trauma in order to escape the consequences that Sunny may face. He also serves as an omnipresent being who controls headspace and the characters living in it. The more that Sunny reconciles with his friends in the real world, overcomes his fears, and comes to terms with his trauma, the more Amori is insistent of blocking out the triggers that subconsciously show up in headspace. One primary trigger is Basil, who is constantly cased and casted out of headspace because he brings back Sunny's biggest trauma, which is Marie's murder. In fact, Basil helped Sunny frame Marie's murder as a suicide by hanging her body at a tree.
Later on, as Sonny comes to terms with his traumas, Omori faces him off and serves as the final boss of the game. Omori once again makes a harsher attempt on repressing Sonny's emotions. In the end, he successfully defeats Omori and by extension, his trauma and depression. Realistically, he begins to set his path towards recovery rather than avoidance. He does this by reconciling with his friends and telling him the truth about Mary's death.
Omori presents a haunting yet chilling reality for people with depression. that you will do everything in your power to forget the pain of your trauma. However, just as Sunny faced his fears and accepted his role in the death of his sister, we too possess traumas that we need to recover from. Omori presents a challenge to its players at the end of the game. Will you tell the truth, or will you hide behind your fears forever?
The choice is up to you. This has been Nikita Samson.
And MJ Abalos, and thank you for listening to our podcast on the game Omori.